In a remote farm surrounded by an endless cornfield, a group of friends, Carla, Marcos, Lucia, Javier, and Sofia, had decided to spend a unique vacation. The property, isolated from the world and imbued with an old, mysterious air, promised adventure and disconnection. The owner handed them the keys with a barely audible warning: stay away from the cornfield at night. The first day passed with laughter, stories, and plenty of selfies taken at sunset. But when night fell, an inexplicable unease gripped the atmosphere. As they gathered around a campfire, the wind blew through the corn stalks, emitting an almost human whisper that none of them dared to mention. Around midnight, Marcos decided to head to the bathroom and walked away from the group. "I'll be right back," he said casually. However, time passed, and he didn't return. Concerned, Carla went looking for him. She walked toward the cornfield, calling his name loudly, but only the echo of her voice responded. Suddenly, a mechanical roar froze her in her tracks. A tractor emerged from the shadows, its headlights illuminating the field like two demonic eyes. The engine roared as the machine advanced toward her. In an instant, Carla screamed as she saw a hooded figure behind the wheel. The machine caught up to her. Her screams were drowned out by the crunch of the corn stalks and something far more grotesque. Lucia, Javier, and Sofia, worried about their missing friends, decided to search together. Armed with flashlights, they ventured into the cornfield. With each step, the feeling of being watched grew stronger. The rustling wind mixed with a distant metallic sound that gradually came closer. Lucia was next. Amid the confusion, she got separated from Javier and Sofia. The tractor reappeared, this time chasing her through the narrow paths of the cornfield. She tripped and fell, and before she could get up, the machine reached her. The hooded figure descended slowly, carrying sharp tools that looked like they belonged in a torture ritual. The night's silence was shattered by a final, blood-curdling scream. Javier and Sofia, terrified, tried to make their way back to the house. Along the way, they heard Lucia's distant screams but knew that heading toward the noise was a death sentence. Suddenly, the tractor appeared between the rows, blocking their path. Javier tried to distract the figure so Sofia could escape, but the hooded man was relentless. The chase was brief, and Javier was caught. His scream echoed through the cornfield as Sofia ran desperately toward the house. Sofia reached the porch, thinking she was safe, but the tractor's headlights illuminated the entrance. The hooded figure caught up with her on the porch stairs. The last thing she saw was the glint of a sharp tool in the air before everything went black. Sound of heavy breathing. Carla woke up suddenly in her bed, drenched in sweat. She looked around, breathing heavily. Everything seemed normal. Whispering echoes, it was just a nightmare, she told herself to calm down. Her friends were still in their rooms. She thought about checking on them but decided to let them sleep. Tense atmosphere, ticking clock sounds, hours passed, and the sun rose on the horizon. Carla got up to prepare breakfast, expecting to hear her friends' footsteps soon. But no one came downstairs. When she went to their rooms, she found them still in bed, motionless. Sound of a racing heartbeat. She approached Marcos first, shaking him lightly. He was cold. They all were. A piercing scream, a scream of horror escaped her throat. Ominous atmosphere, engine starting sound. Through her bedroom window, at the edge of the cornfield, the tractor stood still, with the hooded figure sitting behind the wheel, staring at her intently.